Hello, and welcome back to another episode of 100 Coming of Age Films in 100 Days. And today we'll be going through these 5 films. And the first one this week, Girlhood by Celine Sciamma. Living life in a rough situation in a place where there's no hope, surrounded by people who won't help, only makes you more eager to set yourself free. The protagonist finds herself in that predicament of wanting to break the cycle and paving a new norm for herself. There's not many good role models in the film that the protagonist could mirror, and to build herself only gives her an ever-growing anxiousness. But that anxiousness diminishes the longer she is out in the wild. At the end of the day, she can't be strong forever, and things will start to break apart. This film wasn't that innovative at telling a story, but it gives us a window of what their life is like. The protagonist is the only person aware of the situation and sees the bigger picture more than anyone else. And being weaker than the ones who is in command, she's only able to help herself. It's a film where a limbo is broken when one seeks to break out of it by any means available to them. And the second film this week, Tomboy by Celine Sciamma. When moving into a new neighborhood as a child, you have the option to reinvent yourself. But what if that includes tricking everyone into thinking you are someone completely different? The unique premise that this film has, combined with a style that's forgiving for the protagonist, makes this film a warm and calm journey that felt personal. It gives us space and time to breathe, to think like a child and even make decisions like one. It doesn't feel punishing to be making mistakes, but felt more edifying, like a necessary stepping stone to life. I love how the characters were written. They all had a soul, from the little movements to how they speak, all have different variations in different settings. They don't make decisions out of emotional turbulence, but out of reason and logic backed by a conscience that protects oneself. It's a lot for a child to go through that, but necessary and effective when done with love. And the third film this week, The White Ribbon by Michael Haneke. First thing I'll say about this film is that it's unnervingly unsettling. There's so many thoughts that are brutal and ugly that you will think of due to its exceptional writing that controls the way you think. This is a film set before World War I, told by a teacher in a village he used to teach in. It's where the protagonist isn't at the center of the stage of every event, but rather the storyteller of it. There's many points that interconnects with each other, directly and indirectly influencing the choices or outcomes of another. It's like a web of information that holds each other in place. When one crumbles, the rest will follow. Problem is that there is no solid proof that the web of connections exist, but you know it's there. That's how complex the writing is. The best part is you can't seem to find the answer because it's moving and knows you're looking for it. And that is the power the characters hold in this film that drives other characters insane. And the fourth film this week, The White Balloon by Jafar Panahi. Innocence and cluelessness is how we would describe a child who doesn't know much about the world. For the child, there's much more going through in their head. This film was a wholesome experience of life, that there is emotion that keeps everything going, that every life every person encounters has a meaning or something to learn from. We see events unfolding from the protagonist's point of view, who is a young girl. Her motive throughout this film is to buy a puffy goldfish, and along the way encounters many characters and running around to achieve that. Though if you watch this film from a surface level, makes it all seem very pointless. You'll be asking, why was it written this way? Or what was the purpose of certain characters? But when you start peeling the covers and open yourself to the world, you realize that you become a spectator of life. It's a film living and breathing right before your eyes. And I did not realize that until the very end of the film. And the fifth film this week, Sunny by Hyoung-chul. What extent would you go to save or help old friends? How much of your life and time would you give to live that life that once was unpredictable and youthful? This film brings us back and forth between the current and the past. The narrative is from the protagonist who reminisces her past with the aim of reuniting them all for a dying friend. This film has a mature approach to the gloominess of life, by making a life-altering problem seem less daunting when faced with friends that you grew up with. It doesn't scare you with anguish, but rather an obstacle that life will hit you with. Not being attached to something is the way life should be handled, and being optimistic and practical is the road most should take. I would say the editing is very clever. It doesn't just take you back in time to show what happened, but puts us in these moments to understand why and how these choices happened and what outcomes it had on the current time. And it does so without feeling rushed. And that's 5 films this week. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment down your thoughts. And I'll see you next week. Bye.